Now, again, just where we were mentioning a couple of seconds ago about this, how do you feel about my supposition that most of the media, after the year has ended poorly for the government, they don't want a one-term Labor government, so much of the media is going to try to find ways to make it look like the government's dealing with the serious problems. But what about that thing today? Now, again, earlier in the week I was talking about Shane Wright at the Channel 9 newspapers, and, largely he's kind of on the right issues, and he doesn't write the headline, but still, $10 billion more in spending cuts and changes are aimed at inflation. But the reality is, of the $10 billion, we don't know how much of it's cut. And in the first paragraph of the story, most of it is going to be sent anywhere redeployed inside the budgets. There's not actually going to be a cut in spending.
Yeah, when you actually read between the lines, it's sort of an interesting one. I looked at this. So $1.5 billion to end a special COVID-era visa program. That takes $1.5 billion, apparently. $250 million to deal with fire ants. Mm-hmm. $325 million for some old oil production vessel in the Timor Sea. I think the devil is in the detail with this stuff, and I'm not going to pretend to be an economics expert here. It's going to take far wiser heads on this issue to pull it apart. Will there be the appetite to do that within the press gallery?
That's the point. Now, Jacinta Price on this morning with Mark Levy, my mate, on 2GB, and had a few words to say about the handpicked representative of Australia in the UK, who, of course, is or was planning not to have an Australia Day party out of sensitivities. Well, this proud Indigenous woman says, please.
Australians are sick of being put down. I think it's a put down to put an end to any celebrations on Australia Day. I think we have to get back to being proud of what it means to be Australian in this lucky country and appreciate what we do have. And those actions, I think the Prime Minister should be overturning those actions because they're absolutely uncalled for and un-Australian.
Yeah, it is surprising, Cory, but not a giant surprise that the machine just keeps on pressing regardless of what the people tell you. Now, I know that we had a vote about a very specific thing to do with the Constitution, but it's pretty obvious what all the vibe was around it, and part of that being the black armband version of things, the people who believe we can't talk about 2024 till we've dealt with the sins of the 1770s. That's why Bronwyn Bishop, I think, is always right to say Jacinta Price represents a new form of politician, one who says, yeah, OK, anyway, into the future, we're proud of the country, we're proud of the institutions because it puts us in the best position we could possibly be.
Yeah, I think the Senator's actually spot on here, that people want to look forward. I know that there's a lot of the lefties are so caught up on trying to manufacture an ongoing problem because that's how their industries are created and developed and sustained. They've got to continue to try and attack what's good about this country and claim it's bad. But what I found bizarre about this, Paul, was the fact that they've now backtracked the government and said, oh, it's about cost issues.
Oh, rubbish.
And yet apparently it's made a profit every single year. Yes. So instead of $55,000 of cost, it actually makes a profit, which they then use to fund charities. This is an ideological experiment. It is absolutely trying to go under the radar. Albo and his mob have been caught, and I think they need to backtrack on this and reverse the decision straight away.